We got to know a little bit about an opportunity to come here. We got to know a little bit about the area, the spiritual need of New Bedford and just New England in general, and began to pray. So through those prayers led to opportunity to come visit, and just got an increasing sense of burden for the spiritual need of this area. And basically God provided a way for us to come. And he's been very faithful, and seeing his provision in many ways to allow us to live here and see what he's doing in New Bedford.
When we found out about the spiritual need in New Bedford and looked at our life, the ages of our children, what we were best suited for, maybe our giftings and how we could best utilize that for the gospel. We had to look at our life at that current, state that it was in and say, are we being best utilized for the gospel here, or would there be a place where we could do that more or better? And like Jordan said, through just prayer and getting the vision and coming here too and seeing for ourselves and really getting a sense and feeling what New Bedford was like, and just the spiritual hopelessness that was here, we felt like we could be utilized.
I think it's clearly for us in our marriage and in our parenting. We've been challenged in many ways these past 5 years just to grow up as a husband and wife and as a family. And I think just putting ourselves into fully engaging with a biblical community and a biblical church and serving in the mission of the church, God has met those needs.
When I think of a particular thing that has really, where God has worked in our lives, like Jordan was saying, being able to give ourselves fully in obedience to just the community in our church, but also to where he has planted us in our neighborhood, has been very significant. So being able to, as a whole family, say, these Saturday mornings, we're intentionally carving out to not just be about ourselves, not just fix things up around the house or go do something fun that maybe we want to do, but to say, our neighbors have a need. What do they need? How can we show up for them? And just being able to do that as a family, that we are going on mission together for the benefit of someone else, and how we've seen that trickle down to our kids to almost establish a culture in our family of, we do that. That's who we are. We want to have our eyes open to the needs of others, to have compassion for others. I've seen us all grow because of that. On a spiritual, personal level, the Lord has grown me in not running away from the things that are hard, not running away from people when that would feel more convenient or easier, but to press into the Word when I don't feel like God is near, to just keep doing it, to keep showing up, to keep cultivating the habit of Bible reading, prayer, confession, being with the saints. Digging deeper into relationship, whether that's with God or with others, even when I don't maybe want to. And through that habit, seeing an abundance of fruit and growth, I think, over time.
I would love to see more neighbors and local people represented in our everyday Sunday gathering, and see families of some of the kids that we've got to know through the years start attending and come to know the Lord, and really experience a place of safety and refuge from the world. There's no other places really of a biblical and healthy place where they can experience God's love and proclamation of God's word week in and week out.
I think similarly, my hope for our neighbors is that they would know the Lord, that they would see cycles broken of sin, of just spiritual poverty. I think that a neighborhood church is crucial for transforming a neighborhood, because in a place like New Bedford, everything is in the neighborhood. So someone on the other side of New Bedford, even though they may come to Grace Harbor Church the one in the West End, it's not going to be as effective as if there was one in the South End, right? So for the people in our West End neighborhood, we are the local church. Like, we are the church on the corner that is sending people out, that have people living on streets all around the neighborhood. And that has an impact on people's lives as we intentionally choose to go out, to invite our neighbors in, to get to know them, to choose to be the awkward one and start the first conversation, and to do that over and over and over again until we can crack into their world and for them to trust us. So if we're not planted in the neighborhood for a long stretch of time, that trust just can't be built. And so it needs to be there.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's just practical for this area. This is not really an area where people travel far. Usually, it's generationally, people stay close to their neighborhood, close to the home that they grew up in. For the most part, they have a loyalty and a mindset to stay in the neighborhood. So being on mission here means healthy local churches for neighborhoods in this area.